time for the Vuelta España TT recap. Stage 1 from Lisbon to Oeiras. 4 vowels in 6 letters is tough for me. Oeiras, 12 kilometers long. We actually do have a couple of rollers. I mean, you look at this profile and you think it looks pancake flat. I mean, and it is, but intermediate time check at 7Ks to go. But really, with 2Ks to go, there's this uphill drag, and you could visibly see some riders going quicker than others. The big story of this stage was time slots and wind, because apparently this area is no rain, all dry today, thankfully. Apparently this area, there is no consistent wind, very variable, and very strong gusts, and it's a very fast TT. And I'm no aero expert, but as I understand it, aerodynamics and power becomes less, there's a diminishing returns as speeds get higher. So
I feel like you skipped a few words in that sentence.
Like as speeds go to 60 k's an hour, you have to push exponentially higher power to go faster, whereas wind can just go push you the other direction. Listen, we can get on an expert some other time. The point is, it was strong gusts and it was changing. What did you notice in the slots, Benji? Because you get to pick your slots for your riders if you in an opening TT.
Well, first of all, to be honest, before this time trial started, had no clue whether the good wind or the bad wind or which wind situation was going to be at the start versus in the middle of the time trial versus at the end, because like you said, it's pretty variable. So I don't know how teams chose it, but there was a clear difference in how certain teams chose it. Like, for example, UAE and also Visma Leasebike, they've got multiple candidate winners for a time trial like this. And for example, with Visma Leasebike, we see that they put Affini early on in their starting order, while Wout van Aert is later in their starting order. So yeah, you've got Affini at the start and Wout van Aert at the end, which means that you're kind of hedge betting on wind conditions. If it's bad at the start, then Wout van Aert will have decent wind conditions. If it's bad at the end, then Affini might have better wind conditions at the start. So that kind of counters each other. But were you surprised to then see Ineos choose to put Tarling exactly in the middle?
No, because it was with some of the big GC guys. It was around Yates from memory, who's maybe UAE's top guy.
Yo, he's got like 4 or 5 riders they need to put in a certain spot, in the best possible spots. They have...
Yeah, I mean, true. You'd think they put McNulty in their best spot. He's their best chance to win the stage. Their most powerful TT rider. He beat Jay in the flat UAE TT, and Jay's coming back from an injury, although he did win the Burgos TT last week. But, you know, it's UAE can split those two, and I think it makes a big difference when you have...
Yeah.
I think the GC guys did all seem... Well, I think you're right, though. Roglic went latest of Bora, so it did really seem like the last slot was best. So, I mean, let me check the start order. Who was the last man that went for Ineos? Brandon Rivera. So that just seems to be not the right slot, because I like Rivera, but yeah, it's not the... And Carlito went the slot before, but Carlos also went in a great slot around Kus, Almeida, Vasek, and others, and around Kung. So, I mean, but we're talking 20 minutes, but 20 minutes, I don't know how accurate these forecasts are, and it's changing, but what you really want to do is have 2 big guys and split them.
Yep.
You want to have Hayter at the start, or Ganner at the start, and Tarling at the end, or you want to have Affini at the start, Van Aert at the end, or Vine at the start, McNulty at the end.
Or Tarling at the start, Rodriguez at the end, instead of both of them kind of being middle to just after middle.
Or Aaronsman at the end even, or Aaronsman at the start.
Yeah.
But the problem is with the GC guys, you go lower variance, because you... Because if a TT guy specialist, not GC rider, if McNulty loses this TT because he got really horrendous wind, it doesn't matter. He's not going for GC. Same with Affini. If Affini just has the shocking wind, whatever. But the GC guys, you got to play it like, you got to go with like the, I don't know, most consistent slot around the other guys, I guess.
But like we said, I do want to give some chronology to this time trial. Sometimes we go chronology, sometimes we go, boom, this is the result plate, and you get to eat it. Today, we're not eating the plate yet because I want some chronology. Affini was one of the first riders to really put a mark time on the board, I would say. His time was really good. Although, at the time of him setting that, you don't really know that yet, you know? Because, like, yes, Affini's been a prologue expert in the past, been a shorter time trial vendetta. That's a word. In the past, he's gotten good short time trials in the past, but in the recent years, it's been a bit less when it comes to that. So I was thinking, okay, how good is this time really? Okay, which other riders have already finished at this point? Lipovic came around, and that was actually a kind of a surprisingly good time trial.
Take a step back from Lipovic.
Okay, step back. You said
Voxnor, super good TT. Victor Kamenov, super good TT in Tour de France.
Yeah.
I think he went around Affini, and then to T1. Voxnor was super fast, like not that far behind Affini, and then blew up, and then Affini beat him by like 20 seconds. I was like, that's a good, okay, he's a good rider. Then he beat Vine by 20 seconds. Vine just beat him in Burgos last week, and it was looking like big gaps. Not many are going under 13, but yeah, you're right. That Lipovic time, Benji, still to T1, Lipovic did 8:08, 9th. Now, I don't know whether I've underrated Lipovic. I don't know whether I just don't know him so well, and he is breaking out this year. He's done 2 TTs this year that were pretty good. Last year he hasn't done so many TTs, but I'm going to go out on a limb, Benji, and say that Amiral, Baroncini, and Lipovic had a fucking huge tailie to T1. Yeah. And the wind changed a bit there because then Lipovic and Amiral, who both stayed top 10 to T1, a 17th and 22nd T1 to finish. Or they just overpaced and blew up a bit.
Yeah.
I think
for the people that don't live in Australia and cuddle kangaroos every day, a tailie is a tailwind, right?
A tailwind, yes. Or the wind changed because all those guys that went around that time, it suddenly was Affini, Vine, Campenas, and then 3 guys go, and they're suddenly Amiral, Lipovic, Baroncini. No guys you would expect to be doing TTs that good. Amiral, that's an exception. He's good tier time trials, and Baroncini decent, but still, I think the wind was really variable throughout the TT, Benji, is what I'm trying to say.
I agree with you. I also agree with the correction there that I admit I expect him to top 10 this time trial beforehand, so it's not shocking to see him in that result. Affini, time kept staying on the board, even after Lipovic, Armirai, etc. And I was thinking, when are we going to see a rider that can beat that? So we're all looking at the Welshman, Joshua Tarling, because he was 4th at the Olympics. He could have podiumed there if not for the mechanical he had. He's the favorite for this time trial going into it, I would say. So I was expecting Joshua Tarling to at least be on the podium, most likely win the time trial. And he starts the time trial. He looks to be doing quite well. Passes the first time check. And he was beating Affini at the first time check by 3 seconds. So I thought, okay, yeah, he's settling himself nice in the first position. But him only being 3 seconds ahead of Affini at T1 was already a sign of me of, okay, this Affini time is good. And then we get to the finish line, and Tarling actually rides a worse T1 to finish than Affini by quite a bit. And suddenly he's behind Affini at the finish line by like a very small margin. I think 0.18 seconds, if I recall, 0.28 seconds.
The funniest thing was it went green. Yeah. So at T1, the time doesn't change and tell you the exact time when you see them cross on screen. And it would like go green just before they crossed and tell you. And so actually they're like, oh, they're 1 second ahead. The same thing happened at the finish with Tarling. He's crossing the line. It goes green. One says he's 1 second up. Changes camera angle to Affini. Gets the actual result. 28 milliseconds down. And Affini's like, oh. And to be honest, Affini must have started to think, I've got this in the bag.
Yeah. Arguably, yes, because if you're beating Tarling, then there is still quite a few riders on the road. Like a Wout van Aert could do a good time trial. A Roglic. We've had McNulty, etc. Stefan Kung still on the road, but we all know Stefan Kung won't win the stage. He will come 2nd, 3rd, or 4th behind other riders. That is just the most likely scenario. So it's not out of the woods yet, but beating Tarling, the favorite, puts you on the throne of like, okay, I could actually win this time trial. And maybe in his head he was thinking, okay, I could bring this home this way. But that was not the case. Who was the next rider that ended up beating the time of Affini?
So Matthias Vacek, we've seen him in Hungary and various other races, Norway being an absolute beast for Thibaut Naesen, a domestique role. This guy, he's a very special talent, to be honest, like Vacek. Hey. So, yeah. And he beat the
UAE
Gazprom. He was
Tour?
on Gazprom, yeah.
UAE Tour 2022, there was a three-rider Gazprom breakaway together with Paul Lapera. I only just realized today that was Paul
Was that
Lapera that was
Lapera?
with them. That was Lapera.
That breakaway's aged well.
Yes,
That bum
outside of the other
breakaway
two.
on a sprint stage is aged well.
Outside of the other two Gazprom riders that I have no clue who they are, Vacek, it's apparently pronounced Vacek, so Matthias Vacek, together with Paul Lapera, have become pretty good riders. And Vacek on the road today proved that he was a pretty good rider with a small asterisk that we'll get into in a bit. But when it comes to performance itself, first time check, Vacek crosses that line, and he crosses that, and honestly, 5 seconds faster than Affini. I was like, where did this guy come from? Because, like, yes,
A full 5 seconds.
I believed in Vacek winning a stage in this Grand Tour, but not the time trial, you know?
Yeah, but he's a big boy, and then you see him climbing in on these 5-6% grades. He must be able to push 500 for 10. Like Vacek must be able to push 500 for 10. Now, can you do it in TT position aero? Is another question. But yeah, we got the elephant in the room is Vacek. The wind might have changed again. It was favorable for the late guys. First of all, Little get to start after Ajdazer. He gets to chase Bouchard. Bouchard's literally, he gets to catch his Minuteman in the first 8 minutes. So he gets to draft the car of Ajdazer and Bouchard. That's, I don't know, 1 or 2 seconds, let's say. He also has no TV motorbike between him and his car behind him. So the little Trek car is on his ass. On his ass. And which, you know, unless the commissaires tell you to move, whatever. But the egregious thing was like the the police moto in front of him. It was crazy, man. Like the way it was dragging him was unbelievable. And listen, Koos got a drag in Burgos last week.
Yep.
This is a systemic problem that Roglic got fucked today. Roglic had the police moto I didn't see once. Yep. Like Roglic had to do this, you know, so it's unfair on different riders. So,
but
Bigham's complained about it. It just affects the results. They got to do something about it. You cannot have the results on a TT affected by this.
I fully agree with you, but I also think it's the wrong thing what some people are doing on social media. Okay, it's cheating from Vacek and Koos for doing that. The riders are not choosing that. It's the moto's responsibility. It's the UCI's responsibility to have a commissaire that is making decisions during the race to prevent that from happening. If a motorbike is too close, they need to be able to communicate with that motorbike to get that motorbike out of the way. And that's possible, I'm pretty sure, because they have communications with motorbikes in the race. So I'm pretty sure that is possible. But hey, it's a systemic problem. You went into it. And in the end, regardless of the systemic problem with motos, great performance by Vacek. And I can't wait to see what he does in this Vuelta and other races in the future, to be honest. 'Cause what rider is he? I don't actually know. It's like, is he a bit of a Lascano?
Lascano type guy, yeah.
Check Lascano.
But he can sprint a bit better, I think.
Yeah, for
bit
sure.
Punchier. So, yeah, just a big guy, big engine, a lot of power. And yeah, you know, he still would have done a really, really good TT, but we're talking fine margins in the end. And then we see Stefan Kuhn also with no TV moto. He does a really good time. 6th to T1, 8:04, and then 2nd to the finish. He did a really quick time. We're talking 61 k's an hour for the last 4.5 minutes of this TT. But yeah, Vacek, he just did a consistent TT. We then see Van Aert set off and McNulty. And so the only people who can beat Vacek are the last two guys basically on the course, McNulty and Wout Van Aert.
Perhaps Roglic.
And Roglic. We'll do the GC riders kind of separate.
Okay.
But yeah, Roglic did it. Roglic was going really, really fast. And then we see McNulty T1, 2 seconds, or it wasn't. It was a second and a half behind Vacek. Van Aert goes green, first to T1. McNulty's got no police moto. His car's like a million miles behind him. He's doing it all on his own. And then McNulty we see coming through to the finish, makes it go all green, beats Vacek by 2 seconds actually. 2 seconds, and quickest to the finish on the quick section, 4:36.61. The only rider, or one of 2 riders to go over 61 k's an hour average. Van Aert visibly labouring a bit on the uphill drag to the finish. It goes red for him. He was 8th from T1 to the finish, which sounds like a lot, and it is, because it's 5 seconds slower than McNulty from T1 to the finish, and he ends up actually just behind Vacek by about 1500ths of a second. So McNulty wins. I'm glad McNulty won, to be honest, because like he did deserve to win. I'm glad Vacek did a really, really good performance. But yeah, McNulty deserved to win, and it's another huge TT from the man, the American Natty champ. I don't know if he was back in Arizona. I saw on Instagram with his wife, doing TT training on the big highways there, on the big roads there. So he's been training it a lot. He was 5th in the Olympic Games TT, which was a good performance. He won the Romandy TT. He won the UAE Tour TT. He was part of the UAE team time trial winning team in Paris-Nice. He's a TT master this year, one of the best, probably top 5. Hard to say. He's not a top 5 time trial rider in the world, if not better. And UAE keep winning, so he takes a big win.
Conspiracy.
Oh yeah, what's your conspiracy?
Time for a conspiracy. Can we list the races in which McNulty is part of the UAE Team Emirates team, where there are other leaders with him, and he ends up in the leader's jersey? Basque Country 2021,
yep.
UAE Tour 2024,
yep.
And how did both those races end for UAE?
Paris-Nice 2024. He became their leader in Paris-Nice this year, and but he finished 3rd. Oh. Anyway.
So, what does that say about the future curse upon the co-leaders?
Ain't no co-leadership. Yes, no, Almeida.
I
don't think he wants to. I think he'd rather go on the break and win some stages, honestly. I think McNulty's kind of, to me, he's like, I win fucking 6 World Tour races a year, and I don't have the GC pressure. Like, happy days. And he still came 3rd in Paris-Nice and 5th in Basque Countries. So, yeah, he's having a cracking year. But yeah, he wins the TT ahead of Vacek by 2 seconds. Van Aert on 2:80 is in 3rd. Kung 4th on 6.5 seconds. Affini 7 seconds, 5th in the end. Tarling 8 seconds. Maro Schmidt, we didn't see him at all. is in 7th. A huge TT from him.
Yeah.
We didn't see him at all. Yeah, but that's especially as he wasn't that good, in my opinion, in Arctic race. Roglic is the best of the GC riders. Really, really, really good TT from him. 16 seconds down on McNulty, and Amarel 9th. Roglic puts 3 seconds into Almeida, 6 seconds into Schkelmoser, and then we have a cluster of, say, the good but not worldly TT riders of Tiberi, Vlasov, Aronsman, Geoghegan Hart between 27 and, say, 30 seconds, a little bit further. The slightly skinnier, got a lighter guys, Martinez, Adam Yates on 33, 34 seconds, Carapaz on 40 seconds, Del Toro 42 seconds, Otterbrooks, I think one of maybe his best TT ever, on 44 seconds, Rodriguez Carlito on 45 seconds, O'Connor 52.
That's of the winner and not Roglic, right?
That's off the winner, sorry. That's off the winner. I changed halfway through from saying, yes, that's not very helpful from me.
So basically, Roglic 2 seconds on Almeida, Skjelmos on 5 seconds, Tiberi on 10, Arensman on 12, Tao Geoghegan on 14, Martinez on 16, 17 8. So a lot of riders within 20. The worst riders, I would say, indeed, Uiterbrooks actually had a pretty good one, 27 seconds, because I would have expected a minute compared on his Burgos one. Kaz lost 26 seconds on Roglic, Carlos Rodriguez 28 seconds, O'Connor 35, and Landa's in Narnia, man. Like, he lost more than a minute on the winner.
Yeah, Landa had a shocker. He looked like eye test real bad. Like eye test, he was going slow too.
Dinosaurs are not Arrow.
Ricciardello also lost a lot of time. He lost 1:10 to the winner, which is nearly a minute to Roglic. Lazcano, don't know why his TT was so bad. 1:12.
Maybe on purpose.
Yeah, maybe. But I think that's most of the GC guys of relevance. But I would say the Trek guys both did really good TTs. Geoghegan Hart and Skjelmoser. But yeah, an interesting TT. What do we learn from this, Benji? GC-wise.
honestly, you spoke about Roglic's TT being very good. I agree, but I think Almeida's TT is very good as well. Only losing 2-3 seconds towards Roglic, that's a very good time trial from Almeida. His time trials this year have been on point. And if his climbing is on point like the Tour de France, then he's competing for the victory here, which I would like because I'm an Almeida stan at heart. But outside of that, to be honest, the riders that I expected to lose time, lost time, but some just lost a bit more time than others. So it's not, for me, not much has happened in this time trial. This won't be what decides the Vuelta winner for
Benji,
me.
come on, we're doing break the fourth wall here. We're doing a cycling podcast. We got to do hot takeover reactions to this 12K TT. Okay,
Landa just lost this podium.
Rolanda's finished.
Yeah, washed. Carlos Rodriguez looks shit.
Yeah, Kian beating Carlos Rodriguez. Roglic is absolutely flying.
That's not a hot take.
No, actually, I got a better hot take. This TT says nothing about Roglic's shape for the road stages.
That's a valid point.
Because in Paris-Nice, he was so fast in that TTT, and then in the road stages, and this is not even a conspiracy. Like Aldag said, his power is good, his shape is good, and I think Roglic himself said, but there's pain in his back, and so you can do a 12-minute effort on the TT bike, which he maybe didn't get to train too much on, but then how is he going to cope in the 4 or 5 hour mountain stages or sprint stages? So that's the big question mark. So it's actually hard to draw a firm conclusion for that. Florian Lipovitz is here to win, Benji. Danny Martinez, the domestique.
Roglic the domestique for Lipovitz? Is that what you're saying?
They're selling off all the German speakers. Does Red Bull care about the German speakers anymore, or they're like more agnostic to the nationality of the riders?
What do you mean about they're selling off all the German people?
Buchmann, Copperless, Schachmann, Quickstep,
well,
Haller,
firstly,
Tudor.
Buchmann, no offense, but he ain't the loss for Red Bull Bora. Kemna, he had great years in the past, and he's still a fucking good rider.
They're not above Kemna.
But the problem with Kemna is that his future is a bit unsure. You can't deny that.
Yeah,
he had a major crash, and it's whether Red Bull Bora wants to bet on him returning from that crash, which that's harsh to say because I'd love for this guy to get a 4-year contract, and well, he's been announced, right, by Trek?
Yeah.
So I look forward and hope that he returns to the form that he had before. So fingers crossed. But it's always a bit of a gamble after injury. So I don't think it's the right decision to ditch him, though, for Bora. I would have liked for him to stay there, but I actually think it's good for Kemna to go to a different environment for a little bit. I'm not sure Little Trek is the right environment, though.
Yeah, but it's just, they seem to be, but they've only got 19 confirmed for 2025. But yeah, Lipovitz, obviously, he must be in good shape to be doing that. TT, otherwise, it's hard to pick too much out of this, other than Vacek is going to be someone to be reckoned with in the breakaways, I think, later in this race, as well as Van Aert is now.
We're always talking about Pablo Castrillo when we talk about Equipo Kenfarma. This Urco Berardi guy.
What the hell? What the hell?
The fourth at Burgos. Can we talk about him?
Yeah.
Like, where did this man come from? I remember this guy as a. This is no offense to him, but as one of the Galician farmers that I tried to beat in Pro Cycling Manager breakaways, and now he's actually a good rider.
He's from La Rioja, I think.
I don't know what that means.
It is from the north of Spain.
Is Galicia not in the north of Spain?
Oh no, he's from Navarra. He's from Pamplona. I got it wrong. Close.
What does that mean?
It doesn't really mean anything. It just means he's
Is he Galician or not?
No, he's not Galician. He's not Galician. But he is a Spanish farmer. So he is.
But he's a good one.
That's what I mean. I was like, who are you? Like, look at this. He was sixth from T1 to the finish on an Equipo Kenfarma. Are they still on Giant? So they don't, it's not like they have a terrible setup. But he's sixth on the 60k an hour section. He beats Affini from there. He beats Roglic. He beats Nelson Oliveira, Skelmo, Zavine. Like, he's the same time as Van Aert, just about to. Now he beats Van Aert from T1 to the finish. I don't know if your man just hitched a ride or what, but like, what the hell?
Hey, I deliver another conspiracy theory. Remember that earlier I mentioned when McNulty was in the race, always something happened with the other GC leaders of UAE in that race. Pogacar ended up losing Basque Country 2021. UAE Tour, everybody did shit on the actual mountains, and obviously Adam Yates crashed. UAE have never won a stage. This is from Always Bet the Break, at Break Always on Twitter. UAE have never won a World Tour stage race where McNulty has worn the leader jersey or won a stage.
Well,
2021 Itzulia, 2022 Paris-Nice, 2023 Giro, 2024 UAE Tour, Paris-Nice, and Romandy. Are they cursed now?
Bora looked pretty good, I gotta say. Lipovitz, I think would have made waves at the Giro. I really do. But yeah,
but are they Pogacar?
Well, yeah, maybe. Could have put him under pressure. This Berardi guy, he didn't do a TT in 2023, and then this year he actually came 11th, 12th in the Burgos TT. So like, he's got to be a good all-round rider for some World Tour team. Like, he's got to be a decent rider with decent power. Give him a chance.
Are we still talking about Urko Berardi?
Yeah, Urko Berardi.
Jesus Christ.
Not Pogacar. He don't need no charity contract. The tomorrow stage from Cascais to Rem, it is 195 k's long. It's quite hilly, actually. It's 2,670 meters of elevation gain. It's not flat. We're heading north. It could be windy at the start, but it is inland for the most part and really quite inland at the end. But it opens with a 5k 5% climb with a categorized climb with some K1 points. Then Tilly all day, intermediate sprint with bonuses, but the break should take that. Then they do a category 4 climb, 7k is 4%, but there is 2k's at 7% at the start. That is reasonably hard, but it is 25k's from the finish. Then it's sort of a staggered downhill and a false flat drag to the finish. So it is not a straightforward sprint stage whatsoever. It actually reminds me of an opening Dauphiné sprint stage. I don't think any of the sprinters here are going to have problems on that climb, Benji. I don't think that's the danger for this stage.
Yeah, I don't think it's true, because like, we have limited sprinters, and the sprinters that are here, you'd expect them to get over a climb. Like Wout van Aert, Caden Groves, you'd expect them to get over it. Maybe someone like Arne Marit has trouble here. I don't know about his ability to eat climbs like this just before the sprint. So
Colin Strong should be fine.
And also, next to that, if we take a look at the GC result, Wout van Aert is on 3 seconds of the red jersey, so he's going to want to win the stage tomorrow and take the red jersey, I think, as well as something to pick up along the way. So that's that. Wout van Aert wants to win the stage, so Visma Lease Bike will probably control it, together with Caden Groves' team that will also probably control it, and maybe some other teams waggle into the train as well to do that too. So this is a sprint for me.
Looks like a sprint. I think the only danger is if it does get quite hard on that 2k 7% climb, that you could see a Soler attack. But then it's like McNulty's in the leader's jersey. I think it becomes less likely. You could see those sort of moves. I don't really see it.
Or maybe, maybe it is more likely because they feel like Wout van Aert will try and win the sprint and take the jersey away from McNulty. So in countering that, attacking might be the best way to take bonus seconds away if it works.
Yeah, true. And also, I don't know how many seconds are available of that intermediate sprint, but Van Aert can draw level with McNulty, I think, if the break is caught by then. So we'll see. I really do not think there will be... well, first of all, there's not big time gaps. Hot take. There are not big time gaps because of the nature of this TT. Therefore, basically, no one serious is allowed in the break because you could take the jersey as well if you actually go and win the stage. And secondly, I really don't think Alpecin and Visma are going to let a strong break go with the likes of Thomas de Gent, Lastra, the Gregard type guy who was good the other day. I'm trying to pick Casper Pedersen. Do they even have a sprint? He'll probably go for the sprint, frankly. Andreas Krohn. I mean, Andreas Krohn, actually, if you want to look at a similar stage, it was much harder than this, I will say, but he won a Catalunya stage ahead of Luis Leon Sanchez and Remy Rochas and Kemna. where they attacked on a plateau, gradual climbs, but it had about the same amount of climbing, to be honest, just longer. So these can be tricky to control. They can be tricky to control. I'm going to go with... Oh, sorry, Benji.
Well, I'm going with Wout van Aert. Go ahead.
I'll go with Caden Groves, and Van Aert takes the jersey.
But I have a very important announcement to make. I need to propose a formal apology to the nation of Portugal, to Cristiano Ronaldo, José Mourinho, Marcelo Rebelo de Sousa, your president, for mispronouncing the city in which the stage starts tomorrow. Because I was roasted in my DMs yesterday for saying Cascais while it's Cascais. I'm sorry. Formal apologies. Hopefully you can forgive me, Portugal, and we can get on better terms in the future.
Sounds the same to me. Cascades. We're starting in Cascades tomorrow, and it's going to be a sprint.
Jesus Christ.
No, I've lived in Europe long enough, Benji. And listen, I got complimented the other day. Someone thought I was literally native Spanish speaker, so I don't want to hear it. But I don't want to hear it sometimes.
You've lived next to the border for more than 2 years.
Yeah, I know. I should learn the language, and I have. It's fine. But I don't want to hear the criticism because English speakers, we never, generally speaking, I think because we're more used to English second language people speaking, but we would never, if someone said, "Oh, can I have a croissant?" we wouldn't be like, "It is a croissant." I saw that only went viral on TikTok yesterday, so I don't want to hear it. Although, wait, what was the correct one? Cascais.
Cascais.
Portuguese is hard. Portuguese is actually, the pronunciation is very difficult.
Cascaus.
Okay, so you got Van Aert, I got Groves. I found today's one really, really difficult to pronounce. I really tried. But it's just to form it is very, very difficult. Even to say Joao properly, I really struggle.
Jesus
even when
Christ.
no, people have told it to me. I tried.
My nephew's called Joao.
It's just a difficult thing to enunciate with the way my mouth is formed. Alrighty, that's all from us. Yeah, well, I actually do have a funny story.
Oh God. Is that also from the dog?
Yeah, so a pit bull attacked me, in Alicante, and not only did he break my finger, but
Don't worry, I could tell.
Broke my jaw. We try our best. Okay, hope you enjoy the podcast. You should see a sprint tomorrow, maybe some late attackers. It should be an interesting final. See you tomorrow. Ciao.